Hi everyone, welcome back to Sfdc Panther. This is Amit, and I have a news for you that from this video onwards I am going to record the series of various topics which will be very important for all the beginners, for all the experts out there to learn the basic concepts. So from this video I'm going to start Salesforce security model, where we are going to understand how we can implement and how to secure our Salesforce data, Salesforce org, fields, and many more things. So let's see what we have. So in the Salesforce security model, we have organization-wide security label, which is the very first thing that we need to implement. And we have object label, we have record label, and field label. So these are the four main labels that we are going to implement. And let's quickly talk about organization label security. So when we talk about any organization or any Salesforce org, which might be your production environment, that might be your Salesforce developer org, that might be your Salesforce sandbox, or your partner developer org. If we let's consider like this, the Salesforce organization is nothing is like your home or house. That means first you need to get a key, and if you have gotten the correct key and you are able to open the lock, then only you will get enter into your house or your home. So that is why if we compare, right, if we say that our Salesforce org is nothing is equivalent to home, or we can say vice versa, like our home is nothing is equivalent to Salesforce org, where we have to find the correct combination of username and password. When I say find, that means you need to enter the correct username and password, and then only you will be able to get into your Salesforce org. And once you are in your Salesforce org, then only you will be able to work on the various objects, fields, and other functionalities that is there in your Salesforce environment. So that is what this is how it is going to look like. You are either login using the user interface, that means login.salesforce.com or test.salesforce.com, and there might be possibility that you have enabled my domain into your Salesforce org. So you can put your username, password, and then click on login. So if your username and password, the combination that you have provided, is correct, then only you will be able to enter your Salesforce environment, and you might see, based on your setting, you might see Salesforce classic environment, or you might see Salesforce lightning environment. And then the second is way is to log in into your Salesforce org is you might wanted to use, or as per your company policy, you might wanted to use some external services to log in into Salesforce, like you have some Okta, which is providing you the identity, or you have Salesforce itself, you have Microsoft, you have Amazon, you have some other identity providers, or you have enabled social logins like Gmail, Twitter, LinkedIn. So these are some other ways to log in into your Salesforce org. Once you are in, so this is the high level that you actually see when you try to go. Let me show you here. You try to go here into this interface, right? Here you try to provide some username and password. I'm just putting some random password here, and I click on login. I will say that no, I'm not able to log in. If I put correct username over here, I will be able to log in into my org. If not, then again I'm getting that error. So that is what actually happens behind the scene when you actually put and click on login. What are all the various parameters that Salesforce checks behind the scene, and it does check within a fraction of seconds, and it lets you log in, or it tells that your login ID or password is not correct. So what happens here? So we are going to discuss two scenarios. One scenario is, right, you are trying to log in using this interface, your username and password. What happens? If you provide your username and password and those are incorrect, it will say no, login error. You get that login error, right? Again, you have provided your username and password which are correct, very good. Now it is going to perform some checks as profile label. Profile label means whatever the profile that has been assigned to you. You might be a system administrator, you might be a standard user, some other user, you might have like your org has been set up based on what role you are going to play over there. So that is what it is going to check few permissions, or it is going to check few it is going to validate few checks at your profile level. Like first thing it is going to verify is login IP ranges. When we talk about login IP ranges, at a profile level, you can define some range of login IPs. That means it is going to check if your login, your IP from where you are trying to log in, your network IP is within that range. If that is the case, it is going to pass into the next validation check. If not, it is going to show you the error. Now let's see where we can add those IP here. So I'm inside my Salesforce org. I'm going to type profile, and here I'm going to see all the profiles. I'm going to list all the profiles for my org. And once we are in, we can open any profile. There is no recommendation like you need to open admin or anything. I can just go ahead and open this custom support profile or custom sales profile. I can open anyone, and then this is the enhanced version of profile. You might see some other version of profile. If you see like that, that is a complete different interface. You can just find this login IP ranges. There will be a link for login IP ranges as well. You can just go ahead and add your login IP ranges for that profile, and you can add multiple here. So this is the universal IP range that I'm trying to add over here. I can add, you can add more and more. Why we need to put, the reason behind this is whenever we are trying to work for our client, the very first thing is that security of our data, security of our org. We need to be more and more secure about our org and data. So to prevent the unauthorized access and to prevent the access from those network where those are not identified, or we can say those are not valid network to a particular accessing a particular org, we need to provide these login IP ranges. That is why we are putting these login IP ranges. If you say that yes, you have got the valid login IP ranges, now next check is going to have this valid login hours. Every org has their own definite set of valid hours. Like you are working in 9 to 6 shift, you are working in 1 to 9, or you are working 1 to 10, you are working with 2 to 12. So there are various shifts, and based on your shift, the organization, whenever your user is getting set up into the Salesforce org, they add particular login hours. Like these are the login hours that you can be logged in, that you can log in into your Salesforce environment. How you can get that? Again, we are here in this profile in the profile detail page. You can just go say that login hours, and on the below here you will say that you have got some login hours. You can just click on edit, and you see here there are all the 7 days that you can set here, and you can set like if you wanted to have from 12 a.m. to something like 11 a.m. You can just put those login hours over here. I'm not going to put, because if I put, I will not be able to log in into my Salesforce org. But yeah, this is a different set of profiles. I can quickly put that. I can say I just wanted to put a login hours for 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if those hours are valid, then only you will be able to then it is going to perform a next level of validation. If not, again you will see the login error, some different error like your login hours has been or not correct or something like that. I'm not sure about that complete exact wordings of the error, but you will get error and you will not be logged in into the system. Next, what it is going to validate is, now we have talked about this profile level access. Like if there is a kind of success, then it is going to validate the next set of validity, which is login hours. Again, if your login hours are also valid, now what it is going to see is, it is again going to perform a new set of access, or it is going to perform the validation on a different set, which is network level access. What is, again it is checking if you have added some trusted IP ranges at a network level. If that is the case, you will be logged in into the system. Now we talked about two different IPs, one at a profile level, one at a network access level. What is that? So if you go here into your Salesforce, you just go to setup and search box, type network access. Here as well you can define those IP ranges, but in this IP range you cannot define this universal IP range, which is from 00 to subnet mask to till 255. You cannot define that. As you can see that I'm getting this error. Here you can define that some sort of IPs. Suppose that I have some IP, I can say my IP over here. I have this IP range, right? I can just go ahead and add this IP range as a start and end. So what will happen? Next time when I will log in using this IP address, I will not get a verification code. You might have noticed whenever you are trying to log in into your Salesforce environment for the first time, you are getting a verification code into your registered email ID. So why you are getting? Because of this, you are trying to log in into the first time. This system has not identified your login as a valid browser or a valid session, or we can say that valid network. It is going to ask you, if you are the correct person, give me that verification code that I have sent you to the registered email ID. And then if that code is success, that is a verification is successful, it is going to let you log in into the system. If not, you will get that error like verification code is not correct, or it can say that incorrect verification code. So that is what it is performing over here. It is checking if you are inside a valid IP range, then it is going to let you log in, say that yeah, you are in and you can access your home. Home means your Salesforce org. If not, it is going to send you the activation code to your registered email ID. We already talked about this. It is going to send you a 4 or 6 digit activation code. It will, again, you get that activation code, put that into the input. Again, it will verify. If that is correct, you will get the access to your home. You'll get the access to your Salesforce org. If not, you will get the error. So this is the very first scenario where you try to log in using some sort of username and password. And then we have next other scenario, which is you are trying to log in using external identity provider. We talked about social logins, Gmail, LinkedIn, Facebook. We talked about Microsoft. We talked about Okta. You can have Amazon, GitHub. Many more identity providers are over there. You are trying to log in into that. Again, it is going to perform the same set of label. It is going to perform the login IP ranges at your profile. It is going to perform the login hours change validation. If all those are correct, then only you will be able to log in into your Salesforce environment. And once you are logged in, you can access your Salesforce org. But what sort of access you can get, what objects you can start working, what are the record level access that you can work on, or you get when you log in into your Salesforce org, and what is the field that you can see when you try to open any detail page. All this we are going to discuss one by one into our coming lectures. So in the next lecture, we will discuss about object level security. So for this lecture, this is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to put down into the comment section, and I'll definitely help you there. Thank you.